Hi viewers, in this video we are going to discuss about a transient annotation. Before that I introduce myself, I am Shankar. I am working as assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. Let's go to the video. In this video we are discussing about transient annotation. The transient annotation is used in Java to indicate that a particular field should not be persisted in the database. So as we know very well, as a database which consists of entities, an entity consists of some set of fields or attributes. So we are not used always all the fields. Some may be, some may not be. So that we need to decide. So we can ignore the field based on this annotation, that is at transient. When a field is marked with at transient, the persistence provider will ignore that field during any database operation such as insert, update, or select. The primary purpose of using the at transient annotation is used to exclude specific field from being persisted in the database. This can be useful in various scenarios, such as when a field is derived or calculated from other persisted field, or when it hold temporary state information that should not be saved. So let's see one simple example. If you consider a scenario in a e-commerce application where an entity called order, and the entity order has a field called total amount, which is calculated from the sum of its line of items. Since total amount is a derived value, and it should not be persisted in the database. For example, you consider the same example. Order can have some set of field called order ID, order name, uh, number of items, price, and etc. So we can insert the data called order ID, order name, number of items, price, everything. But total amount we cannot, because while inserting the data, if we cannot able to know the total amount, because we can able to know at runtime only, because we need to know the number of items, price of the item, and the quantity of the item. So number of items into price, then only we can able to know the total amount. So like that we need to add the number of items the customers want to purchase. So total amount is not persisted value in the database. So we can consider this total amount as a transient annotation. So similarly, it is a simple example. So we can use many field as not be persisted in the database. So simply we can say in the Spring Boot application, the at transient annotation is used to ignore a field when mapping a class to a database table. Also, the at transient tells the JPA not to store that field in the database. The field exists only in the Java object, not as a table column. It's useful for temporary or calculated value like totals, flags, and so on. Also, the JPA skips it during insert, update, and select operations. If you mark a field as at transient, JPA will ignore it completely in entity lifecycle operations. No SQL column is created for these types of field. Also, it is commonly used for derived or helper fields. So, a simple example is given. Here we are creating an entity called product. The product consists of four fields called ID, name, price, and discounted price. So here the field ID is created as primary key because the ID has annotated with that ID. Also, ID can have auto-generated value because we have annotated another annotation called at generated value. Also, it consists of strategy equal to generation type dot identity, which helps you to create the auto-generated value with unique values. And we have another two attribute name and price. It was not annotated with any annotation, so it will be considered as normal field. We just come to the field called discounted price, which was annotated with at transient. So it's not considered like a field or column in the database. right? So, and later you need to create a getter and setters and everything. So this is for simple example for our transient annotations. I thank you all for watching this lecture series. Thank you. Thank you once again.